And now my YouTube people can hear me, finally. Let me just quadruple check. Yep, they can hear me. My mic's on. My camera's on. No more technical difficulties. Jumping right into it. Other vegetables. Dr. Greger's other favorite vegetables. Artichokes, asparagus, beets, bell peppers, carrots, corn, garlic, mushrooms, button oysters, portobello, and shiitake. I'm surprised he didn't list reishi. Orca, onions, purple potatoes, and I'm surprised he didn't give mushrooms their own chapter since they're not vegetables and they're technically a fungus, but never mind, we're going to continue reading. He already mentioned that earlier in the book. Purple potatoes, pumpkin, sea vegetables, arame, A-R-A-M-E, dulse, and nori, love nori. These are all seaweeds, I'm pretty sure. Snap peas, squash, delicata, don't know how to pronounce that, D-E-L-I-C-A-T-A. Summer and spaghetti squash varieties. Ooh, summer squash. Spaghetti squash is good too. Sweet potatoes / yams, tomatoes, and zucchini. And obviously, I don't know who the hell I'd be if I didn't put a sticky note on this page. Serving sizes: 1 cup raw leafy vegetables, 1/2 cup raw or cooked non-leafy vegetables, 1/2 cup vegetable juice, 1/4 cup dried mushrooms. Daily recommendations: 2 servings per day. Now I wonder what's his opinion on vegetable juice, since we don't have any fructose in vegetable juice that I'm aware of. So maybe he has a different outlook on vegetable juice than he does fruit juice. The Mammoth Global Burden of Disease study identified a typical American diet as the primary cause of Americans' death and disability, and inadequate vegetable intake as our 5th leading dietary risk factor. That's insane. Nearly as bad as our consumption of processed meat. The Union of Concerned Scientists estimates that if the nation increased its consumption of fruits and veggies to meet the dietary guidelines, we might save the lives of more than 100,000 people a year. That's a lot of people. Wait, what? Okay, page 322. You should eat more fruits and vegetables as if your life depended on it, because maybe it does. Garden variety, diversifying your vegetable portfolio. Perhaps the least controversial advice in all of nutrition is to eat more fruits and vegetables, which is to say, eat more plants, since the term vegetable basically just means all parts of the plant that aren't fruit. I'm pretty sure all fruits are technically considered vegetables by the botanist definition as well. There are root vegetables like sweet potatoes, stem vegetables like rhubarb, pod vegetables like peas. Let me get my handy dandy highlighter out. And even flower vegetables like broccoli. It isn't called cauliflower for nothing. We've already talked about the leaf vegetables in the green section. If dark green leafy vegetables are the healthiest foods around, then why branch out to other parts of the plant? Pun intended. Yes, you are supposed to eat the rainbow, but didn't we just learn that green leaves have an entire spectrum of colors hidden inside? Unlike more generic compounds like vitamin C, which is broadly available in various fruits and vegetables, other nutrients are not so evenly distributed, just as certain fruits like citrus offer unique non-pigment phytonutrients not found in other fruits. Different vegetables contribute different compounds. White cauliflower, lacking antioxidant pigments, doesn't appear to have much to offer at first glance, but because it belongs to the cruciferous family, it's one of your healthiest options. White cauliflower, baby. Similarly, white mushrooms may look pretty drab, D-R-A-B, drab, but they can provide myconutrients, MYCO nutrients, not found in the entire plant kingdom. We now know that certain phytonutrients bind to specific receptors in other proteins in the body. I talked about the broccoli receptors in Chapter 5. There are also effectively green tea receptors in your body, that is, receptors for EGCG, a key component of green tea. There are binding proteins for the phytonutrients in grapes, onions, and capers, CAPers. Recently, a cell surface receptor was even identified for a nutrient concentrated in apple peels. These specific proteins may not be activated, though unless you eat specific foods, the different phytonutrient profiles may then result in different clinical effects. For example, drinking tomato juice can rescue the immune function effects. For example, drinking tomato juice can rescue the immune function of a study subjects crippled by 2 weeks of fruit and vegetable deficiency, but have different effects. One of the reasons certain tomato products appear to be protective against heart attacks, is because the yellow fluid surrounding the seeds concentrates a compound that suppresses platelet activation, PLATELET. Platelets are which help trigger the blood clots that cause heart attacks and most strokes. Obviously, we're going to highlight that. Aspirin has a similar effect, but it doesn't work but it doesn't work in everyone and can increase bleeding risk. Two limitations that the tomato compound may be able to overcome. But if you only consume tomato sauce, juice, or ketchup, you may be missing out, since the seeds are removed during processing. So when picking out canned tomato products, choose whole, crushed, or diced tomatoes instead of tomato sauce, puree, or paste. Interesting. Different plants may also affect the same part of the body in different ways. Consider mental function, for instance. In a study of dozens of fruits and vegetables from raspberries to rutabagas, certain plants appear to shore up specific cognitive domains. For example, the consumption of some plant foods was associated with better executive function, perceptual speed, and semantic fact-based memory, while the consumption of others was more consistently associated with visual spatial skills and autobiographical memory. In other words, you may need to build up a portfolio of many fruits and vegetables to cover all your bases. One of the reasons studies may underestimate the protective effects of plant foods is that they tend to measure quantity of fruit and vegetable consumption rather than quality of fruit and vegetable consumption. People are more likely to eat bananas and cucumbers than blueberries and kale, but variety is important too. Half the fruit servings in the United States are taken up by just 5 fruits: apples and apple juice, bananas, grapes, orange juice, and watermelon. And most vegetable servings are from canned tomatoes, potatoes, and iceberg lettuce. In one of the few studies that looked specifically at the diversity of fruit and vegetable consumption, the variety of intake was an even better predictor of decreased inflammation in the bodies of middle-aged adults than the absolute quantity of consumption. Even after removing the effects of quantity, the addition of 2 different types of fruits and vegetables per week has been associated with an 8% reduction in the incidence of type 2 diabetes. These kinds of data led the American Heart Association to add a recommendation in their latest dietary guidelines to also eat variety of fruits and vegetables. It's an important addition, otherwise a big bag of potato chips or a head of iceberg lettuce could technically fulfill or exceed your recommended 9 servings a day. It's better to eat whole orange rather than taking a vitamin C pill, since the pill deprives you of all the other wonderful nutrients in the oranges themselves. The same principle applies when you don't diversify your fruit and vegetable consumption. By only eating apples, you also miss out on oranges nutrients. You don't get the limonoids in citrus, like limonin and limonol, or tangeritin, tangeritin, though you may get more malic acid from the Latin malum, meaning apple. When it comes to the unique phytonutrient profile of each fruit and vegetable, it's likely like comparing apples to oranges. That's why you should mix it up. In a sense, though, all fruits are just fruits, whereas vegetables can be any other part of the plant. Roots may harbor different nutrients than shoots. For the reason, it may be even more important to get a variety of vegetables so you can benefit from all the parts of the plant. As one large cancer study of nearly 500,000 people did indeed find, because each vegetable contains a unique combination, a recent review concluded a great diversity of vegetables should be eaten to get all the health benefits. Variety is not only the spice of life, it may prolong it as well. Indubitably. Eating better to look better. We've all heard of the proverbial golden glow that's often equated with health, vitality, and youth. I've never heard of the proverbial golden glow. Maybe I have. Maybe. I don't know. But instead of using a tanning bed to achieve a more golden hue, you can do it with a bed of greens. Interesting. There are certain animals who use diet to increase their sexual attractiveness. Great tits, distinctive olive and black songbirds, ubiquitous throughout Europe and Asia, tend to prefer keratinine-rich caterpillars, which make their breast plumage brighter yellow to become more attractive to potential mates. Can a similar phenomenon be found in humans? Researchers took... That's getting highlighted, by the way. Researchers took digital photographs of Africa, Asia, and Caucasian men and women and asked others to manipulate the skin tone of their faces with a dial until they reached what they perceived to be the healthiest looking color. Sure enough, both men and women preferred the yellow golden glow that can be achieved through dietary carotenoid disposition in the skin. In other words, by eating the yellow and red pigments in fruits and vegetables like beta-carotene in sweet potatoes and lycopene in tomatoes, men and women may be able to naturally acquire more of the golden and rosy glow. Researchers decided to put it to the test. Based on a 6-week study of college students, the complexion achieved by eating my daily dozen recommendations of 9 servings of fruits and vegetables a day was found to be significantly healthier and more attractive looking than that achieved by eating 3 daily servings. The healthier you eat, the healthier you look. Indeed, studies find that individuals with the lowest fruit and vegetable intake may enjoy the most improvement in appearance. That's nice. What about wrinkles? A study out of Japan used the 6-point Daniel scale to rate the extent of crow's feet wrinkles around the eye of more than 700 women, with a score of 1 being the least severe and a score of 6 being the most severe. The researchers found that higher intake of green and yellow vegetables was associated with decreased facial wrinkling. Women who ate less than 1 daily serving of green and yellow veggies averaged about a 3 on the Daniel scale, while women who ate more than 2 servings a day averaged closer to a 2. The researchers celebrated the potential for these studies to promote a healthy diet. I am certainly not above appealing to vanity, especially for my younger patients, who have seemed more interested in which dietary changes will clear their acne than which will clear their future risk of chronic disease. So I'm happy to see articles embrace these types of studies with headlines like "Greens to be gorgeous." Still, although looking great on the outside is fine, looking great on the inside is even better. Mushrooming benefits. Arithionine ergothioneine, it's ergothioneine, is an unusual amino acid, aka protein. Although it was discovered among more than a century ago, it was ignored until recently when researchers found that humans have a transporter protein in their bodies specifically designed to pull estrogen out of the food and body tissue. This suggests that amino acid plays some important psychological role. But what? Our first clue was the tissue distribution. Erythrogen concentrates in parts of your body where there is a lot of oxidative stress. Your liver and lenses of your eyes, for example, as well as the sensitive tissue as bone marrow and semen. Researchers guessed then that it might act as a so-called crypto or cytoprotectant, a cell protector, and that's indeed what was subsequently found. Ergothioneine, however you want to pronounce it, appears to function as a potent intramitochondrial antioxidant, meaning it can get inside the mitochondria, the microscopic power plants within your cells. The DNA inside the mitochondria is especially vulnerable to free radical damage, since many other antioxidants are unable to penetrate the mitochondria membrane. This is one reason ergothioneine may be important. Depriving human cells of this amino acid leads to accelerated DNA damage and cell death. Unfortunately, the human body cannot make ergothioneine. You can only get it through food. Because of this dietary origin and the toxicity associated with the depletion, Johns Hopkins University researchers concluded ET ergothioneine may represent a new vitamin. It was classified as such that would make it the first new vitamin since vitamin B12 was isolated back in 1948. What are the best dietary sources of ergothioneine? The highest levels by far have been reported in mushrooms. For example, oyster mushrooms, which you can grow yourself in only 2 weeks from just add water kit, have more than 1,000 units UG/DAG of ergothioneine, about 9 times more than their closest competitor, black beans. Wow. And a serving of black beans has about 8 times more than a serving of the third leading source, chicken liver. Chicken meat, along with beef and pork, only have about 10 units, 100 times less than the oyster mushroom. Kidney beans have about 4 times more than meat, but even a 45 units, they pale comparison to some of the mushrooms. And that is getting a sticky note. Ergothioneine is heat stable, which means it's not destroyed when mushrooms are cooked. This is good news because it's best not to eat mushrooms raw. There's a toxin in edible mushrooms called argitine, AGARITINE, to which you should minimize your exposure. Thankfully, the toxin is destroyed by cooking. Just 30 seconds in the microwave wipes out most argitine in mushrooms. I wonder if the microwave is really healthy for you because of radiation or something like that. Who knows? Freezing also gets rid of most of it, but drying does not. If you put dried mushrooms in your soup, it's best to boil them for at least 5 minutes. Morel mushrooms are a special case. The toxins, probably should highlight that. Morel mushrooms. I'm going to write a note for myself later, telling myself to research microwaves. The toxin levels appear higher and may react with alcohol even after cooking. I consider all other cooked edible mushrooms to be green light foods and all other edible raw mushrooms yellow light foods. Sorry, I've been highlighting a lot today. However, raw morel mushrooms, cooked morels served with alcohol, and all wild forage mushrooms should be on the red light list in my opinion. Do you have to eat mushrooms to be healthy? No. Otherwise, it would be the daily baker's dozen. Famously in our family, my mom has never eaten a mushroom. I've also heard bad things about portobello mushrooms and that they lack a lot of nutrition, but he didn't mention that. He actually put them on his favorite daily list, so that's interesting. Famously, in our family, my mom has never eaten a mushroom in her life, and never will, because they look funny. But given the potential immune and anti-cancer benefits documented in Chapter 5 and 11, I would encourage you to try to find ways to incorporate them into your diet. My favorite way to enjoy mushrooms is to grill portobellos. I picked up a George Foreman grill from my local thrift store, and my family has officially renamed it the Portobello Mushroom Grill. I know people tend to marinate portobellos first, but I just drizzle them with balsamic vinegar. Grill until the juice starts dripping, and then add cracked pepper. They are so good, we eat them just like that. Pop quiz, which is healthier, plain white mushrooms or portobellos? Trick question, they're the same mushroom. Interesting. The little white button mushrooms grow up to be portobellos. White mushrooms are just baby bellows. Mushrooms can be stuffed, enjoyed in soups like mushroom barley. That sounds good. Act as a star of a creamy risotto or pate. Serve as the base of a great gravy, or as a flavorful addition to any pasta sauce, or simply be braced with crushed garlic and red wine. Never tried that combo before. Even more, vegetables. My favorite way to eat raw veggies is to dip bell pepper strips, carrots, snap peas in a hummus or bean dip. And my favorite way to eat them cooked is by roasting them. Roasting can transform vegetables into otherworldly creations. If you don't believe me, try roasting red bell peppers, Brussels sprouts, beets, or squash. Never thought you liked orca because it's too slimy? Try it roasted. One of my favorite springtime dishes is a roasted asparagus dripped in guacamole. Here's an interesting asparagus fact. Did you know? I've never tried guacamole on asparagus. Did you know there are 4 types of people in the world? Those whose pee turns stinky after eating asparagus, and those who doesn't, and those who are apparently genetically incapable of smelling the asparagus pee odor, and finally those who can. So, some people may not think they get stinky pee from asparagus, but they actually do, and just can't smell it. Sweet potatoes are one of my favorite snacks. During harsh Boston winters, while I was in medical school, I could take 2 freshly microwaved sweet potatoes and pop them in my coat pocket as natural hand warmers. When they cooled down, my warmers became instantly healthy snacks. It's actually better to boil them, though, to best preserve their nutritional content. Regarding less of cooking method, be sure to keep on the skin. The peel of the sweet potato has nearly 10 times the antioxidant power of the inner flesh. On a pre-weight basis, given them an antioxidant capacity approaching that of blueberries. Sweet potatoes themselves can be considered a superfood. They are ranked as one of the healthiest foods on the planet, and one day perhaps even off the planet. NASA has chosen them for future space missions. In fact, they are among the healthiest and cheapest. Which one of the highest nutrient-rich food scores per dollar? When picking out varieties at the supermarket, remember that a sweet potato's nutritional content is tied directly to the intensity of its color. The more yellow or orange its flesh, the healthier it may be. Sweet potatoes are healthier than plain tomatoes, but if you're going to choose the latter, seek out those with blue or purple flesh. The consumption of 1 boiled purple potato a day for 6 weeks was found significantly to decrease inflammation, something neither white nor yellow potatoes were able to accomplish. The same was found for antioxidants, but much faster. Within hours of consumption, purple potatoes increased the antioxidant capacity of the study subject's bloodstream, whereas white potato starch appeared to actually have pro-oxidant effect because of the lectin count, probably because it's a nightshade family. That's my guess. Blue potatoes may have 10 times more antioxidant power than regular white ones. The most exciting purple potato study to date had people with hypertension eat 6 to 8 microwave small purple potatoes a day, and they were able to significantly bring down their blood pressure levels within a month. Purple sweet potatoes, that's interesting. Microwaved. Purple sweet potatoes, oh, my favorite. May offer the best of both worlds. I was so excited to discover them that I bought them as a holiday gift for my family one year, stocking stuffers they could stuff themselves with, getting kids and parents to eat their veggies. Published strategies for getting kids of all ages to eat their vegetables included cutting them into slices, sticks, or stars. The most popular shape, supposedly putting an Elmo sticker on veggies, swayed 50% of children to choose broccoli over a chocolate bar. If they still not biting through, you can apply the same trick I used to get our dog to take her pills. Dip the veggie in peanut butter, and a study found that pairing vegetables with peanut butter successfully increased intake, even in vegetable-resistant children. Offering a salad dressing dip has also been found to help. Simply having healthier foods out and available can boost intake. Guess what? When researchers put out bowls of cut-up fresh fruit in addition to the regular party fare brought by patients for kindergarten or preschooler celebrations. Sorry, I need to reread that question better. When researchers put out bowls of cut up fresh fruit in addition of fresh fruit. Sorry, starting over. Here we go. Guess what happened when researchers put out bowls of cut up fresh fruit in addition to the regular party fare bought by parents for kindergarten and preschool celebrations? No special effort was made to encourage students to choose the fruit. The researchers just put it out on the table with all the other food. Would kids actually eat fruit when such foods as birthday cake, ice cream, and cheese puffs were available? Yes. On average, each kid ate a full fruit serving. Take that, cheese puffs. Even just calling vegetables by different names can help. Elementary schools were able to double vegetable consumption simply by coming up with names that better appealed to the kids. Students ate twice the number of carrots if they were called X-ray vision carrots, compared to when they were just generically called the food of the day. Are adults as gullible? Apparently so. For example, grown-ups reported traditional cajun beans red beans, Kajun red beans, and rice tasted better than red beans with rice, even though they were the exact same dish. When school cafeterias put out signs like Power Punch Broccoli and Silly Dilly Green Beans, or called broccoli Tiny Taste Tree Tops, selection of broccoli increased by about 110%, and selection of green beans jumped by nearly 180%. The researchers concluded that these studies demonstrate that using an attractive name to describe a healthy food in a cafeteria is robustly effective, persistent, and scalable with little or no money or experience. These names were not carefully crafted, discussed in focus groups, and then presented. They were just invented out of thin air, and kids were suckered into eating healthier for weeks simply by adults putting out silly little signs. Indeed, in the school displaying these playful new names in the cafeteria line, vegetable purchasing went up nearly 100%, while the control schools without signs, vegetable purchasing started low and actually got worse. So why isn't every single school in the country doing this right now? Bring it up at your next PTA meeting. Let's not forget the hide the veggies strategy. Parent-teacher meeting, I'm guessing. I need kids first, I guess. Let's not forget the hide the veggie strategy. Studies have shown that broccoli, cauliflower, tomatoes, squash, and zucchini can be added covertly to family entrees, such that the appearance, flavor, and texture of the original recipes are maintained, like pureeing vegetables into pasta sauce. Studies found the trick. Sorry, I have to annotate every little word. Studies found the trick works for adults too. Researchers were able to slip in up to a pound of clandestine vegetables a day. That's a new word for me. Well, I've heard it before, but I don't know what it means. Clandestine. clandestine. Vegetables a day, resulting in 350 fewer calories eaten. Surreptitiously, surreptitiously, incorporating vegetables into foods shouldn't be the only way that vegetables are served to children, though, since the appetite for an initially unappetizing vegetable can be increased through repeated exposure. It is important to use several strategies to ensure that kids experience whole vegetables. After all, they are not always going to be eating at home. One of the most important predictors of children's fruit and vegetable consumption has been found to parents' consumption. So if you want your kids to eat healthfully, it helps to be a healthy role model. If my page will turn, page 330. The top cancer-fighting vegetables. According to the landmark American Institute for Cancer Research report, any effect of plant-based diets is likely to be due not only to the exclusion of meat, but also to the inclusion of a large number of wider range of plant foods containing an extensive variety of potential cancer-preventive substances. In other words, it may not be enough to cut down on meat. You need to eat as many whole healthy plant foods as possible. Meatless Mondays are great, but even more so when followed by Tomato Tuesdays, whereas Watercress Wednesdays, and so on. Different vegetables may target different cancers. Sometimes even in the same organ. For example, cabbage, cauliflower, broccoli, and Brussels sprouts are associated with lower risk of colon cancer in the middle of the right side of your body, whereas risk of colon cancer farther down on the left side appears to be lowered more by carrots, pumpkins, and apples. An extraordinary study published in the journal Food Chemistry pitted 34 common vegetables in vitro, 8 different types of human cancer cells: breast cancer, brain tumors, kidney cancer, lung cancer, childhood brain tumors, pancreatic cancer, prostate cancer, and stomach cancer. Take breast cancer, for example. 7 vegetables: eggplant, bok choy, choy, could be bok choy, never learned how to pronounce it, probably should one day. Carrot, tomato, endive, endive, never heard of that. Fennel bulb, never heard of that, and romaine lettuce appeared useless, suppressing breast cancer cell growth no more than the control. 6 vegetables: orange, bell pepper, English cucumber, radicho, jalapeno, potato, and beetroot nearly have cancer growth, but 5 veggies: cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, green onion, leek, and garlic abolish cancer growth completely, stopping breast tumor cells dead in their tracks. There were 2 take-home messages to come out from this remarkable study. The first is you should eat a portfolio of vegetables. Radishes, for example, are commonly unable to stop pancreatic cancer cell growth. However, radishes were 100% effective at halting the growth of stomach cancer cells. Orange bell peppers were useless against stomach cancer, but they were able to suppress prostate cancer cell growth by more than 75%. In the words of the researchers, a diversified diet containing several distinct classes of vegetables and hints of phytochemicals is essential for effective protection of cancer. How to make a cancer-fighting salad? You imagine you're standing in line at one of those made-to-order salad places where you get to choose your lettuce, your toppings, and your dressings. You start with the greens. For the sake of this example, let's say you are offered a choice between the 5 covered in the food chemistry study, Boston Boston lettuce, endive, radicho, romaine lettuce, and spinach. Which would you choose? Based on the study finding spinach out of all 5 options, spinach beat out the others against breast cancer, brain tumors, kidney cancer, lung cancer, pre-diabetic brain tumors, pancreatic cancer, prostate cancer, and stomach cancer. The runner-up, radicho. Radicchio. Which topping should you add to your spinach salad? You only get 5 to choose from, and after consulting the Daily Dozen cheat sheet in your wallet, you can tick 3 check boxes immediately: beans, berries, and nuts. Now you only have have 2 toppings left. Out of the 32 remaining vegetables included in the study, which of the following should you pick? Choose carefully: acorn squash, asparagus, beetroot, pak chow, Boston lettuce, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, carrot, cauliflower, celery, curly cabbage, eggplant, endive, English cucumber, fennel bulb, fiddleheads, garlic, green beans, green onions, jalapeno, kale, leek, orange bell pepper, potato, radicchio, radish, red cabbage, romaine lettuce, rutabaga, tomato, yellow onion, and damn straight you already know a sticky note is coming after all that nonsense. Which 2 did you choose? I'll choose jalapeno and I want to choose broccoli. Broccoli and jalapeno sounds like a fire combination. I'm going to try that later. If one of your choices was Brussels sprouts, cabbage, curly cabbage, or kale, and the other choice was garlic, green onions, or leek, you get a gold star. Oh. Well, I'm not getting a gold star, I guess. Of all the vegetables tested, those had the most cancer-preventing potential. Notice anything they have in common? All the top choices belong to one of the only 2 superfood families, cruciferous vegetables, and the alumni veggie family, which includes garlic and onions. As the researchers put it, the inclusion of cruciferous and allium, A-L-L-I-U-M, vegetables in the diet is essential for effective dietary-based preventive cancer-preventing strategies. Not that the most common vegetables didn't make the cut. The majority of the vegetable extracts tested in the study, including vegetables that are commonly consumed in Western countries, such as potato, carrot, lettuce, and tomato, the researchers concluded had little effect on the proliferation of the tumor cell lines. The single most effective vegetable was garlic, which came in first against breast cancer, both child and adult, brain cancer, lung cancer, pancreatic cancer, prostate cancer, and stomach cancer, and second after leeks against kidney cancer. So might I suggest a garlicky salad dressing like the one on page 319? Yes, you can. Garlic and onions. As the above salad example illustrates, garlic, onions, leeks, and other vegetables in the allium family appear to have special properties. Wait a second, though. Like chemotherapy, maybe garlic isn't just toxic to cancer cells, but toxic to all cells? That wouldn't be good. Researchers also wondered about this, so they decided to compare the effect of garlic and other vegetables on the growth of both cancer cells and normal cells. The same garlic dose that blocked nearly 80% of cancer cell proliferation appeared to have no effect whatsoever against normal cells. The similar results were found for the other allium in cruciferous vegetables. In other words, vegetables are selective. They destroy cancer cells but leave normal cells alone. These results were seen in a petri dish, though, and while such studies may have direct relevance for digestive tract cancers that come in close contact with these foods, for these foods to be protective. Sorry, let me just reread the sentence. These results were seen in a petri dish, though, and while such studies may have direct relevance for digestive tract cancers that come in close contact with these foods, for these foods to be protective against other cancers, the anti-cancer compounds would have to be absorbed into the bloodstream. And in... Oh, wow, he started a sentence with the word and. I mean, fuck the powers that be. You can write a book however you want to write it. And in the case of brain tumors, the anti-cancer compounds would additionally have to cross the blood-brain barrier. The findings do seem to sync with other studies, though both among human populations and in other laboratories, that corroborate the cancer-fighting benefits of cruciferous vegetables, garlic and onions. Regardless, the study illustrates the dramatic effect between the biological capacity of individual vegetables and families of vegetables, and underscores the importance of including a variety of vegetables in your diet. Which is the best cooking method? Is it better to eat your vegetables raw or cooked? If you are thinking raw, you are right. But if you guess cooked, you are also right. Confused? Well, a number of nutrients like vitamin C are partially destroyed by cooking. For example, steamed broccoli may have 10% less vitamin C than raw broccoli. If, however, you prefer cooked broccoli enough to eat 7 florets of steamed rather than 6 florets of raw, then you just more than made up the difference. Other nutrients, however, actually become more absorbable after cooking. For example, you end up with more than 6 times the vitamin A in your bloodstream from cooked carrots compared to raw ones. Wow. A study of long-term raw foodists found surprisingly low blood levels of the red antioxidant pigment lycopene. It's not what you eat, but what you absorb. And cooked tomatoes appear able to better boost your lycopene levels. Steaming may also improve the bile acid binding capacity of vegetables, which may help lower breast cancer risk. Raw food diets automatically eliminate most red and yellow light foods, which is not only an improvement over the standard American diet, but also over many plant-based diets. There is no evidence to suggest, however, that eating raw foods largely or exclusively is healthier than eating a combination of cooked and raw whole food plants. Some cooking methods, though, are preferable to others. Deep-fried foods, whether a plant origin like French fries or from animals like fried chicken, have been associated with higher cancer risks. Deep frying leads to the production of dangerous heterocyclic amines in meat, as detailed in Chapter 11, and to acrylamide in deep-fried plant foods. The excess lifetime cancer risk attributed to the consumption of French fries in young children, for example, I just had French fries earlier today. From Popeyes, by the way. For example, may be as high as 1 or 2 in 10,000, meaning about 1 in 10,000 boys and girls eating French fries may develop cancer that would have otherwise not occurred if they've not eaten the French fries. The researchers urged deep fryer cooking times and temperatures be set as low as possible while still maintaining a tasty quality. They wouldn't want to reduce cancer so much that the deep fried foods wouldn't be tasty. Blanching potatoes first can reduce acrylamide, acrylamide formation, but potato chip companies argue that this might have a negative impact on the nutritional properties of the fried product because it would leach away some of the vitamin C. But if you are relying on potato chips to get your vitamin C, acrylamide is probably the least of your worries. What is the best way to cook vegetables to preserve nutrition? I am often asked that question, and it's difficult to answer as it varies from different vegetables. What we would need is a study that measures a variety of different cooking methods with a variety of different vegetables. Thankfully, we got exactly that. In 2009, a Spanish research team pulled out all the stops, performing more than 300 separate experiments with 20 vegetables and 6 cooking methods, all while considering 3 different measures of antioxidant activity. They tested baking, boiling, frying, griddling, griddling, cooking in a thick frying pan with no oil, griddling, interesting, microwaving, and pressure cooking. The winner? Let's find out. Let's start with, let me make sure I didn't skip a page. Nope. Let's start with the worst methods in terms of antioxidant loss, boiling and pressure cooking. When you use these wet cooking methods, some of the nutrients is lost into the cooking water, but less than I would have thought. For instance, the researchers found that boiling removes an average of 14% of the vegetable's antioxidant capacity. So if you like your corn in the cob boiled, you could just add extra quarter ear to the pot. 6 quarters boiled may have all the antioxidant power of 5 quarters raw. baked, or microwaved. Of the 6 cooking methods studied, griddling and microwaving were actually the gentlest. Nuking your veggies appears to preserve an average of more than 95% of antioxidant capacity. Wow. I never thought, that microwaving would preserve so much nutrients. I really need to do more research when it comes to that. Those are averages across 20 vegetables, however. Some vegetables are more resistant, and antioxidant power actually increases when cooking in some veggies. Which do you think was the most vulnerable vegetable? That is the one probably best eaten raw. If you guessed bell peppers, you were right. They've been shown to lose up to 70%. Wow. I love raw bell peppers too, so that's amazing. Lose up to 70% of their antioxidant capacity when baked in an oven. I'm going to continue to roast my peppers because of how much I love the taste, but I realize I'm getting less nutritional bang for my buck. No biggie though, because I can just add an extra sprinkle of oregano to my roasted red pepper pasta sauce. On the other hand, 3 veggies hardly seem to be affected at all by cooking: artichokes, beets, and onions. You can even boil them, and they'll still retain 97.5% of their antioxidant power. Finally, there are 2 vegetables that may actually become healthier, though, through cooking: the humble carrot and the celery stalk. I thought he just said carrots are better raw. No matter how you prepare them, even by boiling, carrots and celery appear to gain in antioxidant power. Green beans get an honorable mention because they increase in antioxidant power when cooked by all methods except boiling or pressure cooking. Microwave green beans, for example, have more antioxidants than raw, so go ahead and make a nice vegetable soup and boost the ingredient antioxidant content at the same time. I don't know, maybe cooking carrots gives you more antioxidants but less vitamin A or vitamin whatever. I don't know. How to make your own fruit and vegetable wash. Buying organic foods reduces the exposure to pesticides, but it doesn't eliminate them entirely. Pesticide residues have been detected in 11% of organic crop samples due to the accidental or fermental use, cross-contamination from neighboring non-organic fields, or the lingering presence of persistent pollutants like DDT in the soil. There are many commercial fruit and vegetable washes products that purport to improve the removal of pesticides, but a variety have been tested and appear to be a complete waste of money. For example, Procter & Gamble had a product that claimed it was proven to be 98% more effective than water in removing pesticides. When it was put to the test, though, it did no better than plain tap water. Rinsing produce under running water generally removes less than half of the pesticides residue. A fingernail polish remover, acetone bath, has been found to be more effective at removing pesticides, but of course, I'm not advocating dunking your fruits and veggies in that. The goal is to make the tomato less toxic. One effective method is to use 5% acetic acid bath. In other words, plain white vinegar. Which has been found to remove the bulk of certain pesticide residues, but 5% is full strength, and it would get expensive buying gallons of white vinegar just to wash your fruits and veggies. Unfortunately, a diluted white vinegar bath only seems marginally more effective than tap water. Thankfully, there is a solution that is both cheap and effective: salt water. A 10% saltwater rinse has been found to work as well as full-strength vinegar. To make your own pesticide-reducing bath, add 1 part salt to 9 parts water. Just make sure to rinse off all the salt before eating. Is buying organic worth it? Stroll down the produce aisle of your grocery store. You'll see lots of food labeled organic, but what does it really mean? According to the USDA, organic farming practices preserve the environment and avoid most synthetic materials, including pesticides and antibiotics. Among the requirements, organic farmers must receive annual on-site inspections, use only USDA-approved materials, and not use genetically modified crops. In order to be counted in the $35 billion U.S. organic retail market, products receive a USDA organic stamp. The fact is that being organic doesn't mean the food is healthy. The organic food industry didn't become so lucrative by selling carrots. For instance, you can now buy pesticide-free potato chips and organic jelly beans. There are even organic Oreo cookies. Junk food is still junk food even if it was produced organically. The organic label cannot turn red lights green. Many are surprised to learn, I know I was, that the review of hundreds of studies found that organic produce does not seem to have significantly more vitamins and minerals. Organic fruits and vegetables do, however, appear to have more non-traditional nutrients like polyphenol, antioxidants, thought to be because conventionally grown plants given high-dose synthetic nitrogen fertilizers may divert more resources to growth rather than defense. This may be why we have learned in Chapter 4 organic berries appear to suppress cancer growth better than conventional berries in vitro. Based on its elevated antioxidant levels, organic produce may be considered 20 to 40% healthier, the equivalent of adding 1 to 2 servings worth to a 5-a-day regimen. But organic produce may be 40% more expensive. So for the same money, you could just buy the extra servings worth of conventional produce. From a purely nutrients per dollar standpoint, it's not clear that organic foods are any better. But people don't just buy organic foods because they are healthier. What about safety? Conventional produce appears to have twice the levels of cadmium, one of the 3 toxic heavy metals in the food supply, along with mercury and lead. Goddamn. The cadmium is thought to come from the phosphate fertilizers that were added to conventional crops. The greatest concern most people have about conventionally grown produce, though, is the pesticide residues. People not only tend to overestimate the nutritional benefit of organic food, they also overestimate the risk of pesticides. For example, surveys have found that many consumers erroneously believe that just as many people die from pesticide residues on conventional food as they do from drug automobile accidents, or that eating non-organic produce is almost as bad as smoking a daily pack of cigarettes. Goddamn. I need to find these surveys. This kind of thinking is dangerous, as it could lead to a decrease in overall fruit and vegetable consumption. If just half of the U.S. population were to increase fruit and vegetable consumption by a single serving per day, an estimated 20,000 cancers might be avoided each year. This estimate was calculated using conventional produce, so the additional pesticide burden from all that extra produce might be expected to cause 10 new cancer cases. On balance, the study suggested if half of Americans ate one more serving of produce per day, we'd prevent 19,990 people from becoming cancer patients every year. Sounds good to me. Unfortunately, this paper was written by scientists for hire, paid by conventional produce growers, so they had an incentive to exaggerate the benefits and downplay the risks. Nevertheless, I think the bottom line is sound. You receive tremendous benefit from eating conventional fruits and vegetables that far outweighs whatever little bump in risk you may be getting from the pesticides. But why accept any risk at all when you can choose organic? My own family buys organic whenever we can, but we never let concern about pesticides stop us from stuffing our faces with as many fruits and vegetables as possible. At least half your plate should be filled with vegetables. Here's a simple rule. Include vegetables in everything, and the more the better. Bean burritos are better than carnitas. Don't even know what that is. Carnitas. But better still is a bean burrito with lots of vegetable wrapped inside. Instead of a spaghetti with marinara sauce, make it a spaghetti with marinara sauce. Did I just read that right? I'm sorry. Am I losing my mind? Let me read that again. Bean burritos are better than carnitas, but better still is a bean burrito with lots of veggies wrapped inside. Instead of spaghetti with marinara sauce, make it spaghetti with marinara sauce. And loads of veggies. Sorry, I didn't finish reading the sentence. I was like, what? Oh my goodness. Marinara sauce is certainly better than Alfredo, but it's even better still to go the extra veggie mile and heap on your favorite vegetables. And that, my friends, is chapter Holy Cannoli. I might have to end here because I didn't know that chapter was so long. So we're not going to read Flaxseeds today. We'll read Flaxseeds tomorrow. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's only 4 pages. I'll read it right now. Flaxseeds! Dr. Gregor's favorite flaxseeds, golden or brown? Oh, this is also going to get a sticky note. Handy dandy sticky note. Here we go. Serving size, 1 tablespoon ground. Daily recommendations, 1 serving per day. I have talked about the wonders of flax seeds in a few of this book's earlier chapters, including those on high blood pressure, chapter 7, breast cancer, chapter 11, and prostate cancer, chapter 13. Remember how flax seeds apparently offer miraculous defense against some critical maladies? I like the word maladies. That's getting a highlight. Okay, you are convinced. But just where do you get flax seeds and how do you best use them? You can buy flax seeds in bulk at natural food stores for just a few dollars per pound. They come in nature's finest packaging, a hard natural hull that keeps them fresh. However, Mother Nature packs them a little too well. If you eat flax seeds whole, they're likely to pass right through you without realizing any of their nutrients. So for best results, first grind up these seeds with a blender or coffee or spice grinder. Spice grinder sounds cool. Or buy them pre-ground or milled. The other option is to chew them really well. Thanks to their antioxidant content, ground flax seeds should last at least 4 months at room temperature. Ground flax is light, nutty powder that can be sprinkled on oatmeal, salads, soups. Frankly, just about anything you're eating. You can even bake with flax without damaging the lignans or omega-3 fatty acids, unlike flaxseed oil. During medical school, I used to make a few dozen flaxseed muffins at a time and put them in the freezer. Then I'd pop one in the microwave every morning before I ran out the door and get my daily flax fix. While eating breakfast surreptitiously on the subway. He loves that word, surreptitiously. Are fruit and nut bars fattening? There are a number of energy bars on the market containing only green light ingredients such as dried fruits, seeds, and nuts. People love them because they are so easy to throw into a briefcase, backpack, or purse and eat as a convenient snack on the go. Dried fruits, seeds, and nuts are all the nutrient-dense foods, but they are also calorie-dense. Might concentrating so many calories into such a small energy bar contribute to weight gain? To find out, Yale University researchers split about 100 overweight men and women into 2 groups. All the participants ate their normal diet, but half were told to add 2 fruit and nut bars daily. After 2 months, despite the extra 340 calories a day from the bars, the fruit and nut bar group did not gain any weight. Dried fruits and nuts appear to be satiating, satiating. The people feel full and unintentionally offset the calories elsewhere throughout the day. Studies on apple rings, figs, prunes, and raisins have found similar results. In the apple study, postmenopausal women who add 2 apples worth of apple rings to their daily diet for 6 months not only didn't gain weight, but experienced a whopping 24% drop in their LDL, bad cholesterol. That's nearly the effect you can get with some statin drugs. In general, the 7% of Americans who average a tablespoon or more of dried fruit per day tend to be less overweight and less obese, and they have similar waistlines and less abdominal obesity than Americans who don't eat as much dried fruit. Of course, when shopping for energy bars, it's imperative that you read their labels, as many brands have added sugars, or you can just eat yourself some money and choose good old-fashioned trail mix. Better yet, how about eating a piece of fresh fruit still? if the choice is between energy bar and candy bar as an afternoon snack, the choice is clear. Other ways to eat flaxseed: when you're not sprinkling ground flaxseed on your cereal salads or soups, baking them into muffins, there are plenty of other ways to get your daily servings of flax seeds. There are lots of conventional flax bars, crackers, and snacks on these markets these days. A few of which even have a green light ingredient. Honestly, it's pretty easy to make your own flax crackers. Mix 2 cups of ground flax seeds with a cup of water. Add whatever herbs and spices you want, and then spread the dough thinly on a parchment or silicone-lined baking sheet. Score the dough into 32 crackers and bake at 400 Fahrenheit for about 20 minutes. To flavor mine, I use a half teaspoon each of smoked paprika, garlic powder, and onion powder, but you should play around until you find a salt-free spice profile you prefer. When cut into 32 pieces, each cracker meets your daily dozen of servings requirements. I also use my trusty discount dehydrator to make raw flax crackers. All you do is mix up a cup of whole flax seeds with a cup of water along with flavorful ingredients like sun-dried tomatoes and basil. That sounds delicious. After it firms for about an hour and gets a jelly-like consistency, I spread it out thinly and dehydrate away. Give it a try. Try your flax crackers and hummus or another bean dip for double check marks. Since you're using whole flax seeds, though, make sure to chew thoroughly for maximum benefit. Flax seeds have a wonderful binding quality that makes them a great ingredient for thick milkshake-like smoothies. Ooh. Toss a tablespoon of ground flaxseed into a blender with some frozen berries, unsweetened soy milk, and half a ripe banana or mango, or a few dates for sweetness, and you have a delicious drink containing both classes of protective phytoestrogens, lignans and flax, and isoflavones and soy. Blend in some cacao powder for chocolate milkshake and could help improve your chances of both preventing and surviving breast and prostate cancer. The same binding quality makes flax seeds a green light thickener to replace cornstarch. I use flax to make my favorite quickie stir-fry sauce. I start with some bok chow and fresh mushrooms. Bok chow. Keep laughing because I'm going to keep mispronouncing it. The water clinging to the bok chow after it's rinsed, along with the liquid that gets released from the mushrooms while cooking, is enough to flash steam the veggies in a hot pan without any added oil. Once the bok chow is tender crisp, I add a cup of water mixed with a tablespoon each of tahini, ground flax seeds, and Asian black bean garlic sauce. This sounds so good. A fermented yellow-like condiment you can find in a jar at most large grocery stores. Once the sauce thickens, it's ready for some fresh ground pepper and hot sauce. If you've got that spicy tooth like I do, and voila. You can even use ground flax seeds to replace eggs in baking. For each egg in the recipe, whisk 1 tablespoon of ground flax seeds with 3 tablespoons of water until the mixture becomes gooey. Unlike chicken eggs, flax eggs, well, it just got totally distracted, are not only cholesterol free, but they are also packed with soluble fiber to bring your cholesterol down instead of up. It never ceases to amaze me of these tiny little seeds can pack such health promoting punch with just a measly tablespoon a day, and so many delicious, easy ways to incorporate ground flax into your sips and bites. There's no reason you shouldn't be able to tick this daily dozen check box every day. And that was the chapter on flax seeds. Tomorrow we'll be reading nuts and seeds. So, more seeds. Gotta love it. That's all I got for you guys today. That was How Not to Die by Dr. Michael Greger. 2 chapters, other vegetables, and flax seeds. We killed it today. Hopefully you kill it today, and whatever you have to do, good luck. Have a good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good night, wherever you are in the world. Much love. That's the answer to all the problems in the world. Simple as love. 1 + 1, guess what it equals? Love. You got it. You're a genius. You're off to the races. Great job today, guys, listening. If you liked it, click off the check mark, subscribe to the channel, help us grow. One day at a time, one step at a time. Find a way. Don't find an excuse. All right, guys, that's all I got for you guys today. I'm in a rush. I got to go to work. Take it easy, guys. Peace.
I've seen something that is floating across that edge. Is it possible that God has been with me? Whole time on this broken set. Just wanna be heard above the wall.